Good morning, guys. Very happy to be with you. Hello from Brussels. But I do not have much time today, so we're going to start immediately. And I have two articles for you today, and I'm going to read them first. You can listen to them several times. The first article is about the Rolling Stones. And then the second article is about the virus on this famous boat. I think it was a cruise boat. So these are the two articles. If there are subjects you want me to talk about, please tell me and I'll find articles about it. So first, listen carefully and then we're going to analyze and translate everything. So, Rolling Stones. Goed nieuws voor de fans van de rockgroep de Rolling Stones. Op 10 juli komt hun nieuwe plaat uit. De vorige plaat is 2,5 jaar oud. De plaat heet Foreign Tongues. Dat betekent vreemde talen. Het is de 25ste plaat van de Stones. De rockgroep deelde al het eerste nummer van de plaat. Dat heet Rough and Twisted. Zanger Mick Jagger is deze zomer 83 jaar. 22. Zieke mensen op schip. Een schip vertrok uit Argentinië. Er waren 150 toeristen aan boord. Enkele toeristen werden ziek. 3 van hen zijn gestorven. De oorzaak is het hantavirus. Het hantavirus geeft je hoge koorts en problemen aan nieren en longen. Als de zieke niet op tijd zorgen krijgt, kan hij sterven. Ratten of muizen kunnen het hantavirus dragen. Misschien kwam een toerist in contact met de urine van een muis. Ze weten dat nog niet. Misschien heeft de zieke toerist anderen besmet. De WHO onderzoekt het nu. De WHO is de Organisatie voor Gezondheid van de Verenigde Naties. De zieken zijn niet meer op het schip. Ze liggen in ziekenhuizen. Het schip vaart nu naar Tenerife. De toeristen mogen natuurlijk niet naar huis gaan. Ze moeten een tijdje in afzondering blijven. Good. So if you have listened a few times, yes, then you can translate it with me. So the first article is short and the next one is a bit longer. About the Rolling Stones. Maybe you heard also that. Goed nieuws voor de fans van de rockgroep de Rolling Stones. So good news for the fans of the rock group the Rolling Stones. Op 10 juli komt hun nieuwe plaat uit. And we have here the verb uitkomen. You remember that this small particle in the beginning, so the verb is uitkomen. And this uit particle in the beginning will be at the end of the sentence in the present and the simple past. So komt uit means comes out on July 10th. Their new album comes out, like will be released. Now, did you notice that we swapped komt en hun nieuwe plaat? Because hun nieuwe plaat, it's the subject of the sentence. Komt is the verb, and we swapped both because we have here something in the beginning. And if we have something in the beginning, you know by now, sorry, that you swap verb and subject. De vorige plaat is 2,5 jaar oud. So the previous album is 2.5 years old. Or 2.5 years old. De plaat heet Foreign Tongues. So the album is called, heet Foreign Tongues. So you can say, ik heet Miss A. Ik heet, I'm called. Dat betekent vreemde talen. So that means, and the verb here is betekenen. Betekenen, to mean, to signify. That means foreign languages. Het is de 25ste plaat van de Stones. It is the 25th album of the Stones. Now, how do you say this number, 25? In Dutch, and by the way, also in German, you will say 5 and 20. The two last numbers are always, you start from the back and then you go to the front. So you say 5 and 20, right? 25 in Dutch. De rockgroep deelde al het eerste nummer van de plaat. So the rock group, and then we have the verb here delen. Delen means to share. So they shared already the first number, the first song of the album. Dat heet Rough and Twisted. So that one, that first number, that song, is called, we have again the same verb, heten. Let me write it down here now. Then you can see it, heten. So it's called Rough and Twisted. Zanger Mick Jagger is deze zomer 83 jaar. So the singer, Mick Jagger, is this summer 83 years old. Incredible, isn't that? And still singing and making music. That's wonderful. Okay, then we have number or article 22, which is called Sick People on Ship. Schip, it's a ship. Zieke mensen op schip. Zieke means sick people on ship. Een schip vertrok uit Argentinië. So a ship left. This is the simple past. It's an irregular verb, so it comes from the verb vertrekken, which means to leave or to leave. So a ship left from Argentina. Er waren 150 toeristen aan boord. There were 150 tourists on board. And so how do we say this number? 150. Almost like in English. 150. It's only when it's the two last ones. Imagine now we had here, imagine this was the number, 152. Then you would say in Dutch, 152, right? Okay, so enkele toeristen werden ziek. So a few tourists became sick. Well, that's how you say it in English. Ziek worden, to become sick. So the verb here would be worden, to become. 3 van hen zijn gestorven. So 3 of them are dead or they died. And this here comes from the verb sterven, means to die. Okay, if you have questions, don't hesitate. And then this file, you can find it by clicking on the link here under the video. De oorzaak is het hantavirus. So the reason or the origin is the hantavirus, apparently. Het hantavirus geeft je hoge koorts en problemen aan nieren en longen. So the hantavirus, I think it's the same name in English, I suppose, gives you, do you see that we swapped verb and subject? Geeft je, gives you No, that's not right what I'm saying. No. Yeah, here, it's not the subject, it's the object. So this is the subject. I'm sorry. De hantavirus geeft. And how did I notice? Because if you swap verb and subject with je, meaning you, singular, you do not write the T at the end of the verb. If you want to say, do you give, geef je. Okay? So that's how I remember that, in fact, this is the subject. So the hantavirus gives you a high fever and problems at, yes, aan, in Dutch, at your kidneys and lungs. This is not really correct English. It's just that you see how the sentences are made in Dutch. Als de zieke niet op tijd zorgen krijgt, kan hij sterven. We had already the verb sterven, meaning die. So if the sick person, does not receive on time care, zorgen. Well, in Dutch it's plural, zorgen. In English, care normally singular. In Dutch it's zorgen. So if the sick person does not receive care in time, he can die. And you see, we swapped verb and subject because we have this whole subordinate clause in front. That's the first thing I want to say. So we have all this, and after that, of course, we have to swap verb and subject as we did. But then, this is a subordinate clause, yes? Starting by als, if. If you have a subordinate clause, all the verbs are at the end, and here this verb is krijgt. There's only one verb. So if the sick one receives, okay? Then I have something else to say. We have two objects here. We have on time and care. Receiving care on time. Of all the objects in between subject and verb, or in between verb and verb, we will always follow first the time, then the other objects, and then the place. Where is it? Okay, if you have questions, do not hesitate. Ratten of muizen kunnen het hantavirus dragen. So rats or mice can, you see one verb in the beginning, can, another verb at the end, can carry the hantavirus. Misschien kwam een toerist in contact met de urine van een muis. Maybe a tourist came, did you see we swapped subject and verb? Maybe a tourist came in contact with the urine of the mouse. Could be. Ze weten dat nog niet. They know that not yet. So they do not know that yet. But in Dutch you do not have the do, did, etc. Misschien heeft de zieke toerist anderen besmet. Maybe the sick tourist has, we swapped verb and subject, has besmet, contaminated others. You see here, this is the subject and this is the first verb. And we swapped both, right? De WHO onderzoekt het nu. The WHO investigates that now. De WHO is de Organisatie voor Gezondheid van de Verenigde Naties. So the WHO is the Organization for Health. This word means health, gezondheid, of the United Nations. De zieken zijn niet meer op het schip. So the sick ones, the sick people, are not anymore on the ship. Ze liggen in ziekenhuizen, evidently. So they are lying in hospitals. And you see hospital in Dutch, it's quite funny. It says a house for sick people. You see? This is a house or plural houses for sick people, hospitals. Het schip vaart nu naar Tenerife. The ship navigates now towards Tenerife. De toeristen mogen natuurlijk niet naar huis gaan. The tourists mogen, you can see the verb may in there. They may not, which means they're not allowed, naturally, evidently, to go, second verb is at the end, home. And naar huis means direction home. They're not allowed to go home. This is the subject. This is the first verb, to may, to be allowed to. And this is the second verb, one in the beginning and one at the end. Ze moeten een tijdje in afzondering blijven. So they must, or they have to, blijven, second verb at the end, they have to stay a little time in afzondering is meaning, well, they have to stay apart. They cannot be with other people. So you call that, for an illness, you call it in quarantine. Quarantine, I think you say quarantine, I'm sorry. In quarantine, yes. In quarantine, yes, the word says it itself. It means 40 days. So they have to stay in quarantine. I think this is it, guys. Yes, we finished the 2 articles. If you have questions or comments or whatever, please tell me here in the comment section. And the link to the document is there also. I have to go to work. I'm a bit in a hurry today, but I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.